Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video I'm going to take you on a journey of building a full-featured WordPress e-commerce website using Gutenberg and WooCommerce. Now, I'm not a seasoned website designer, but I'm starting to get to a point where I notice other YouTubers making some mistakes. So maybe I can offer some value to others that are struggling as well, and I believe I have a pretty solid foundation to start to build off from. It's one thing to build a basic website, like basic websites all have the same pages, like a home page with a hero section, and then some problem/solution sections below that try to entice your visitor to pick whatever service or product you're offering them. And then there's an about page, a blog page, services page, and contact page. Those are usually the general ones for whatever basic website you build. But a website only has one goal, really, to convert leads and bring in sales for whatever your product or service is. So aside from understanding how to use Gutenberg to build stuff that looks nice, you also want to have an understanding of how you should organize the content in your website. Now, this is the blueprint that I have at the moment. It's an ongoing process. I'm still learning at the moment, but as I said, I do have a solid foundation of where to start from. So first I'm going to run you through the main pages that are here, and starting from the home page. Now, I didn't change the navigation yet. This is just a page list, so all the pages will show up here. Obviously, when you make it fit, because it's a blueprint site, I find this handy because I can easily access all my pages. Before a site would go really live, as in I would start to use it, I would make this more of a static thing and I would remove all the pages I'm not using. So we're starting at the home page. I have a very simple header. I'm not using a logo here because I don't want the logo to distract from the hero section part. This is coming from Wes McDowell, this layout. First I start with the hero section, where first I make a statement for the benefit that the visitor would get, and some subtitle or short story that reinforces that. Then a call to action, which has wording that refers to the visitor, so not yours, like not get my statement, but get your or whatever. Next up, you have the problem section. This section focuses purely on a problem that the customer or client is having. And then a subtitle to reinforce, or the problem statement, subtitle to reinforce a problem. Underneath that you have the section which has a solution and a small story how you come to that solution. Then you have the services or product section that offers shortcuts to the solutions that the customer already knows they wants, like shortcuts for IKEA to skip sections. Again, this is from Wes Dowell's video. I will see if I can put a link somewhere. And optional call to action buttons. And then a benefit section. This is all just placeholder material, obviously. This is how your life could be if you choose our product or service. This is a process of how you go about to build the solution. Social proof section. Another featured section. So the difference here is this is the process of how you get to the benefits. This is mentioned it already, so it's proof. This is the features of what your service has. And underneath that we have the footer. Now, I haven't I don't know what a proper footer would be, what you'd want in it and what you'd want to omit. This is basically the default footer from WordPress. I'm leaving it as it is right now because I don't have a better idea of stuff I want to put in there. Skipping back to the top. Oh, we're already here. So from the home page we have our about page. This follows a similar layout, but here I'm changing the header to have like my full logo. And again, this is a page list. This will be a much shorter list on the final site. We have our account here and our mini cart here because there's also WooCommerce installed on this. Now, classically you would have more of a layout like this. Hello, we are. This is who we are as a company. This is our vision as a company, or as a freelancer or entrepreneur or whatever you are. And this is the mission. So I am, my vision, my mission, that's more of a classical thing. But your about page is essentially not really about you. It's still about your visitor. So again, you restate the problem that your visitor is having, you lay out the problem and that they're looking to get solved. Then you show why you're qualified to solve that problem. Again, this is basically from Wes's website. First I'm going over the layout, and then I'm going over the structure of how you would create it. So how I would solve your problem, then social proof, then you show who you are. So basically this classically you would have in the first, but here you would have it in more towards the end, because you're actually the least important part. The most important part are the people that visit your website. So then we have, because it's WordPress, it's WooCommerce, your basic card with some sample data in it. And instead of a blog, might as well show you now. Instead of a blog, I use case studies, which is a custom post type. I'll go back to that in a minute, just going over the rest of the pages. Starting with case studies. This is essentially my blog post with some my blog page. Case studies is a blog page with custom cards in it. Oh, just remembering I should install one other plugin to make everything clickable, but I'll do that later. Checkout page, basic WooCommerce again. Card is currently empty. I might take this out, might leave it in. Frequently asked questions page. Now this page I would not put in the main navigation. I would put this somewhere here in the footer. I don't know where yet. And this is a query loop that shows, well, basically the cards again. I'm going to lay that out so it's more in an line, on a list formatting rather than a card formatting. I haven't done that yet. Homepage, this is back to the small header. This one will go away. Then it's my account, which is also gonna go away because there's also this small icon here for that. Then there's a pattern page. This is my testing/building page. So on this page I test out Gutenberg patterns that I like to use, and I will show you the setup for it later. These use CSS backgrounds and a bit of a bento grid action, which is just different columns lined underneath each other with cover blocks. And some of these are static, some of these are dynamic. This is all dynamic with some CSS shadow, with some CSS background and shadows, with cover images background, and some framing, some more playing around with shadow effects. And then at the bottom you have your social. In the footer is actually, I have this breadcrumb thing here. You don't want something like this at the top, because you don't want your visitor to leave. You want to guide them through the website. So anything that is least important for them, you want to put that in a place where they're less likely to find it, such as options for them to leave, which is your breadcrumb and your socials. Your socials should be at the bottom. Alright, one more, which is the shop itself. I need to take this breadcrumb out here. It's already in the footer. There's a difference between what WooCommerce does, WooCommerce pages, and standard pages. Alright, now let's go over to the dashboard. First thing I do when I install a fresh version of WordPress is I remove the dummy page that there is. Now in this case already removed and everything, and the post, well, I'm not really using it, but I like to remove it anyway. And underneath appearance, themes, I remove all the themes except the one that I'm using, which is 2024. Then I go into the settings, and in writing, actually, sorry, one step back. So I make a few pages, which is the home page, and whatever page I want to use for the post page. In this case, the case studies. Now, why do we choose case studies? Because in case studies, I can go over different. Well, first it serves as social proof, and second, I can go over different sections. For example, I can go over. I can include a benefit post, I can include a problem post, and I can include a solution post, and I can also include a process post, or different posts about the process. And then I could file them underneath a category, and then I could query them under case studies. For example, under different categories. So you would have different sections. Each section has one category. So for one specific project, you could have multiple posts that, I don't know, I haven't figured that out yet completely how I'm going to do that. So after then we go through, so after we made the pages, I'm skipping steps here. Reading, I guess. Yeah, so reading, you pick a static page. For static homepage, you pick the homepage that you just made, and for post page, you make the case studies. Blog pages show at most 12 and 12. The reason I picked 12 here because you can divide it by 3 or 4, which is like a good, and by 2, which is a good division to use in any kind of website. If you use 10, you can't really, it's 5 and 2. If you use 9, it's only 3. So 12 is a good one. What else do we have here? Permalinks. Use the plain one. A few others. First, let's go over the plugins now. So for the plugins, first I removed the default ones, which is stuff like Esquimat. Might put it back in, but not at the moment. The first one I install, is ACF. Where is it? Advanced Custom Fields. Admin columns I like because if you go through your custom fields, you can add stuff like which template is applied and featured images. I like to have those as well. All-in-one WordPress migration, so when you're done, it just makes backup a lot easier. You just export it and then you have your whole site and you can re-upload again if for whatever reason your site crashes. BBQ Firewall. Blog visibility, I want to start using it, I haven't yet. Create blog theme because this also makes it easier to make style variations of your site. You can include custom fonts this way. And also export your theme. Happy Files Pro, this is a paid plugin, but it's a one-time payment, which I like. Everything else is free. Imagify, you have like a limited amount that you can do a day, but this converts all your images to WebP if you set it up as such. Instant images, so you can have a lot of images on your site which are free to use. Now, obviously for your products I will use my own images and stuff, but when you're building it's good, at least when you're building it's good to have your own, it's good to have placeholder images. And the Happy Files Pro plugin allows you to organize your media in a very convenient manner. Then WooCommerce for your e-commerce store and MailPoet for your mailing listing. Now you do need any proper website that is supposed to bring in leads and sales should have mailing lists and funnels. I do not have a funnel plugin here because, and I'm experimenting with that obviously, but funnels is essentially just pages that are linked together. I don't want to mix my funnel with my regular pages, so the way I did this is, let's go to ACF. First thing I do is make a whole bunch of post types, or a couple that I'm going to be using. Like I mentioned, the case studies, frequently asked questions, funnels, which will be essentially be pages, but I put them as a custom post type. Services and testimonials. Now, case studies will be the regular blog posts. I've made taxonomies as well. Let's go over that real quick. Come on. Taxonomies. CS tags, those are tags for custom post types. You would have tags for normal posts. Funnel categories for the funnel post type, and project categories for the case studies. I just have a couple of dummy case studies in here. Here you can see with the admin columns plugin, I added the page template so you can see which template is applied. It's a default right now. I might make a different one from that at some point. And what featured image there is. Frequently asked questions. I didn't add that much. It's just some dummy with, let's open one, why not? Just a frequently asked question and an answer to the frequently asked question. Then the funnels, and here you would have two types of funnels. Now there's not that much in there yet. So lead magnets, the first page is a landing page. Lead magnet, the second one is a thank you page. So in this you would have like a mail poet. Let's see if I can. Well, there's not much to see here, just 2 paragraphs. Mail poet subscription form you would add in there, something like that. Why not? I can update it. Bam. And you would select the form. Now I already made one, so I can might as well just do that. Update. There you go. And I would edit all of this, of course, but this is just for showing. And then tripwire. So you can have a lot of different funnels, and then you would just categorize them by LM1, LM1, LM2, LM2, tripwire 1, so TW1, 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 something like that. I should also add categories in here somewhere. Might do that now. So settings, admin columns. In admin columns, I am in case studies. Now I go to funnels, add a column, action. Sure, categories are in here somewhere. Taxonomy. Yeah, that's one. Okay. Let's add a column. Do we have a page template somewhere? There you go. So we go back to funnels, and you see we have a taxonomy here and we have a page template. Now services, I don't think I added it. Oh, I did. Okay, I have a few services in here, which is just text at the moment, testimonials. I did a few testimonials. And this is not a plugin, custom CSS and JSS. The reason I have this is because I want to use different CSS elements. Can remove this. Like I have one CSS file for backgrounds and one CSS files for other little effects, such as the shadows. I would make a new CSS code, name it, and then paste the CSS code in there basically. And then let's just go in one of them. Then you would copy this part and put it inside, under advanced, inside whatever block element you have to make the CSS apply to that. Product is a post type from WooCommerce. So let's go into appearance in the theme editor. Block editor, I should say. Okay, so one of the first things I do is I go into templates. Actually, let's take a quick step back. Go underneath home. And you have styles. A couple of things for styles. Here I set the block spacing to 0. This is default. 4. There's a like the padding. No, I'm not going to cover that now because it's not. Basically, as you see here, these different colors. You would have content hero section. So the hero section itself is a group which is full width. Then you have this group which is wide width. And then you have all your content in there. Which is not that, it doesn't have to be so complicated. You have a, you don't even have to have this part or this part. Just the media and text box, that is fairly, I mean, the one limitation you have is you can't, or at least I haven't figured out, the media and text, I can't really align them exactly at the edges. Because of the content in here, I'm not, let's just try that. Yeah, I haven't been able to align that. And with columns you can. This padding would apply to, say, if you don't want to use, this is your small content width. If you don't set any width, the small content, like I would go here. If you set to none, you get the max width there. If you set to wide, you get this width, and if you set to full width, it goes full width. There's a problem with the full width, or problem, it's something to be aware of. And I'll get to that in a minute. Basically, your default page template doesn't use the full width. It uses the padding, I believe, which is, if you set full width, it only does the full width of the content container that the template has. A bit confusing, maybe. I should explain that better. I will show you in a minute. Basically, I tend to use this setup, like one group which is full width, then a group among it which is complete wide width. And in order to get this done, let's just go back to inner blocks use content width. Let's look at full on wide width. So if I switch this off, then this block would take the same width as this block, which I don't want. And this block, inner blocks use content width. Actually, no, I don't want that at all. Then you get the narrow thing, I guess. I'm gonna try it one time and then I'm not. Yeah, that's what you get. Okay. Then you get it all the way there. This is the same because, oh no, it's not. This is none. This is always annoying. You want to get the least amount of, you want to get the, how do you say it, the padding, I guess. You want the padding sorted at the highest level. There is a reason to it, but it's always a bit confusing to me. I don't want to save it. All right. First thing I do in the templates is I'm going to make a new template, and rather than changing one of these, because they're very specific and they will be applied to everything by default, those are the defaults, I will make a custom template. Oh, if you're wondering why I have so many, it's because I enabled archive for all my custom posts. So I'd make a custom template, I would name it something. I'm not going to do it now because I already did it. And where is it? Page full width. Here, this is my custom template. As you can see, this block, the content block. So if you have your header, you've got your group, and you have your group with a title and a featured image. And underneath that you have the content block, and the content block is where all the stuff from your page will show up. If you put inner blocks use custom content width, then they jump to the narrow version of the site. This is not what you want. If you have something like cover blocks or anything that needs to be full width, then the content block needs to be stuck at full width as well. It's a bit annoying to use it like this because, well, maybe that works with this part as well. I need to figure that out. All right. So I'm going back to the normal page to show you the difference. So this content block is full width. And then if I go to, come on, it's a bit slow. If I go to the normal page, pages, you can see that for normal pages, this applies. So basically it's the exact same thing, except that the width of this content block is the 620, so the narrow version of this, so the narrow one. Come to think of it, I might want to change that. And the way to do that would be, it's a bit annoying. You basically need to disable this button on the parent to change that. Okay. Now we got the featured image, but we try to get it as high as possible, so we do it here. And the reason this isn't working is because there you go. Now everything inside there uses the same. I don't like the spaces and everything, but I'm not gonna use it now. I prefer to use padding and block spacing. So I prefer to use padding and block spacing, not margins. I hope I didn't accidentally change something I wasn't supposed to change. I wonder why it's so slow. About page, same thing. You see this is all the way butted up against the side, but that's good. This uses the full page template. And then I organize this with sections. So if I were to edit this page, you can also see it with information or something. But so I have a lot of sections, basically a group that is full width. And under advanced, for those groups, I give them the section element. And inside there, I have, in this case, columns. And the columns are, if I can show it, wide width. And inside the columns, I have one column with an image and another column with a card, which is a series of groups. So let's go out of this. The about page should have like a similar structure. Frick, I already covered this. Maybe I'll cut this out. Back to the dashboard. Funnels. Thank you page. Plugins. Oh yeah, media. Okay, let's do media. But not like this. Bugger. Alright, a bit of cutting pasting here and there. Let's go to the pattern page, because in the pattern page is where I try out all the patterns. So let's edit this site. Dang, didn't want to edit the site, my bad. Edit the page. The difference between editing site and page is, well, site edits stuff like templates and page edits it's only the page or the post, whatever you've got selected. That's my old site. So basically I use the same kind of structure here. I use a group for the full width. I have some padding at the top, none at the sides. I have some block spacing. And inside it I have a query loop. The query loop is set to wide width with new, come on. And the post template. Inside the query loop, I set case study. And card. This is a simple one. It's just a cover, title, excerpt, and some rows with the date in it. one column that has a card in it. The card has a header, body and footer. The card is basically like a miniature website, web page. Bento grid is a selection of columns underneath each other. One with 2, one with 3, 2 and 3, 2. And then one column has a card in it as well. It's basically the same as above. And say I want to add something new here, something random, like an image. Go to Media Library. And here you can see 2 more plugins in action. We have the instant images. You can search for anything you want. Let's go for welding. I like welding. I'm not going to select any now. Actually I might, and I'm going to cheat, I have a touchpad. There. Otherwise it's one by one. That's something I don't like. You have to click as fast as possible. With Happy Files Pro you can make different folders. You can also organize posts and categories and everything. I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. But I like to make the following folders. Branding is where I put stuff like logos, stuff particular to the brand. This is a character I made like 10 years or so ago. I'm using it in the About page. Placeholders is where I put images that, well, I use as placeholders. At the moment, the ones from Instant Images. It's not saying that I won't use it in the final product. It's just that I don't want to use images to represent something that, like I don't want images to give the illusion that I made something whereas I didn't. So it's fine to use them for stuff that's not too specific. Like don't use them to say something like, hey, I made this. No, just use it as like a mood image or so to say. Product placeholders is where I keep the sample photos from WooCommerce. You can import products in WooCommerce as as dummies, and annoyingly so, as image I can only drag one at a time. But if you insert a gallery, you can select them all. Alright, and then I'll close it because I don't want to actually put in an image. I just wanted to show instant images and the happy files. Okay, so I got this block. Going to delete it. Actually I don't have to because I'm not going to save anything. Yeah, leave the page. And then back to the edit site because there's one more thing I want to show. If it loads, of course it loads. Page full width, why not? Alright, as you can see we have header, group, footer. I also make different headers, like 3 of them. If you go to header, you can click on edit. That's actually not the one I need. Shoot. Back. You can select here, replace header. And when you click replace, you can look through existing template parts. Now this is a custom header I made. This is a custom header I made. This is text only used on the front page. This is used on shop pages, I think I will use it. And the normal header is used on normal pages. Maybe I should unify that and use a small header everywhere. On pages I mean. But the logo is a little bit too small for my taste there. One more thing I wanted to show about the global styles is colors. Now, I make a lot of new colors. These are the themes, and the reason I'm not changing these colors, at least not yet, is because it's very easy to, well, if you change the color, let me show what happens. Bam. I change the color. Okay. Reset colors. Very easy to reset, which is good, but it's also easy to accidentally do something. Like you pick a few colors too many and then, oh shoot, I reset, and then you forget that there's 2 colors that you need. So instead I made custom colors. Now the way I do that is I have the following. My logo has 4 colors. I mean, it looks like 3, but really the roof here is another small one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 colors for the logo. I have another color for the call to action. Let's go to the website real quick. Call to action is a color that's supposed to contrast with everything else. Like there shouldn't be anything else that has the same color. And that's the color scheme I'm using is from peloton.com. Or I'm using at the moment. This is just like a try it 3 colors. So you pick 1 color and you pick 3 other colors for it. So I make 5 for the main color, because this one has 5 colors here, 5 colors there, and 5 colors there. 5 for the main color, 5 for the second color, and 5 for the third color. Think of this as accent colors in something like Microsoft Word or anything along those lines. So you have 1 main color, but you have like a whole bunch of accent colors among it. It's a lot of colors. You don't really need to use them or anything, but it's good to have them. There's a strategy behind them. So these would only be used for the logos, and the other colors would be used for the site. I don't really touch these, except, well, like the base and the contrasts. These are used by default, but the accent colors I don't really use. Let's see, anything else I might mention? No, I think that's it. So main page, small header, about card case studies, check out. Let's just, I'm gonna edit the site. I'm not gonna save it, but I'm curious to how it would look. Bam. So if I want to edit this, I probably get a message about converting it to from a page list. No. Oh, look at that. I don't want to go into a navigation like that. That's something I don't particularly like. I'd rather stay here. Row. I don't really need to use a group, I guess, but page list. Yes, detach. If you keep it as a page list, it dynamically brings in all your pages. But now you can just delete what you don't need. For example, I would delete this one. I would delete that one. Could use Shift-L-Z as well. So the cards, frequently asked questions, the pattern page, and the checkout. So after all that's done, there's not much left actually. This one, move it up 1. You can also drag it, but it's a bit slow at the moment. So I'm not gonna save it. So okay, I think that's it. If anyone has any further questions or remarks, I'd be happy to hear it. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing, thumbs up if you liked it, and see you next time.